I threw it on the ground. Oh, but now I can slide. I could already slide before, couldn't I? Weird. Oh, yeah, but when I tried, they yelled at me. I remember that now. This looks like a cell phone. Why does this cell phone have a drawing of a smaller cell phone on the front of it?
Scientific analysis would suggest this belonged to the victim. I can't think of anyone else it could belong to.
What's so scientific about that? Should we check it out? Yeah, check it out. Right, let's check it out. It's doing this on its own.
Man, what a boring strap.
What's wrong with it? Everyone has different tastes, you know?
Here, check out mine. It's a pink princess strap. These are hard to come by, you know.
I see the series is as popular as ever with the kids.
This one's still on the redial screen.
Redial?
Mr. Wright. Most phones keep a record of all the calls you've made and received. You just press the blue button to display the last number you called. Convenient, isn't it? I'm surprised you didn't know about it.
Sorry to disappoint you, but even I know about things like redial.
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. It's just you never know with people from your generation.
Whatever, let's check this phone out. The girl just called me old. Now to see who the owner of this phone called last.
Note to self, a defense attorney doesn't think first, he just pushes the button.
Hey, that song, I know that. Hey, what's going on over there? Ah, oh, sorry. I mean you, partner. You pressed redial on that there phone, didn't you? Oh, well, yeah.
Whose phone is this anyway? It was on the ground over there.
Whose is it? That belongs to Chief Prospector Sky.
What? It's my sister's.
She apparently dropped it when she was taken into custody right after the crime. Look, the last call was made right when the murder occurred. Looks like she was fixing to call someone. Except she only spoke for a few seconds according to this. Who'd she call? No idea. Sorry, partner. Now I got a question for you, partner. I had a phone ring just now, one of those newfangled ringtones. Oh, that? Oh, I'm sorry, that was my phone. What? Your phone? Yeah, it's kind of strange, but someone called me right as we picked up the other phone, a wrong number. I hope you're not lying. They'll shoot you for that in Texas, partner. God, getting his voice right is a pain in the ass, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be for it. Uh-oh, I've incited the wrath of the Lone Star Patrolman. Cell phone added to the court record. Fuck.
This rope, is it?
Yup, they laid it in the outline of the victim's body.
So wait, the victim must have died when the killer closed the trunk on them.
Yeah, definitely. It was the closing of the trunk on him, not the several stab wounds to the chest and face. You've got to be the only person I know that would come to that conclusion. This appears to be the car where the body was found. Looks like the lock on the trunk is busted. That's Lana.
The crime took place in the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The body was found in the trunk of my subordinate's car. Quite a luxury car, it just screams I have money to burn.
Yeah, prosecutors get the big bucks.
A block, this area is reserved for prosecutors.
Defense attorneys are relegated to B block.
I dream of the day when I will be able to park my car here. I'll go over to B block to buy my hamburgers from you, Mr. Wright.
I'm not planning on giving up my job that soon. B block is through here. That's where the visitors park.
I can see the Lunchland car over there, far in the distance.
Hey, you're right. I like the cute design on the door. I can see a cartoon cow munching down on a juicy-looking steak.
Doesn't that strike you as a little creepy?
Just don't think too deeply about it and you'll be fine. Anything.
Nothing is coming out.
Yeah. Did we get anything new other? We didn't get anything new other than the, than this. Doesn't that need to push this again?
What's wrong? You look like I do during finals.
Never mind, it's nothing. Officer Marshall, could you tell us more about the victim?
Good men always die young. Remember that, partner.
Could you be a little more specific?
Bruce Goodman, he was a detective, right? Well, aren't you a faster doggy there now? Detective Goodman was stabbed here at 5:15. The smiling Madonna told me the tale.
I think he means the witness, Ms. Angel Starr.
One stabbed to the chest, a fine piece of work. This here's the autopsy report.
Finally, a death due to blood loss that actually makes sense.
Was my sister involved with the victim in any way?
Funny you should mention that, Bambina. Chief Prosecutor Sky and Detective Goodman had nothing in common at all.
Nothing in common?
They apparently worked together on a case a few years back.
So there's no motive.
Goodman wasn't a particularly gifted detective. That's one reason why I didn't do much work with the chief prosecutor.
But my sister called the victim here on the day of the murder, right? Here, to this parking lot?
So it seems, like calling an unarmed man to a shootout at high noon.
I don't mean an offense, but Officer Marshall, you're a patrolman, right? Not a detective?
You calling me out? They shoot you for that in Texas.
Huh?
I was one of them fancy shoe detectives till 2 years ago, to tell you the truth.
Oh, really? Now he tells me.
But you're a patrolman now, so how can you be in charge of a crime scene?
Nothing gets by you, does it, Bambina?
So why are you in charge?
No reason, we're just short on hands right now. I'm keeping an eye out in the meantime.
That's odd, though.
I mean, if he stepped down from being a detective willingly and they still think he has what it takes, like, I could understand. Maybe he just didn't want the responsibility.
Detective Gumshoe was saying he had nothing to do, nothing important at least.
I mean, obviously they don't trust Gumshoe. He's fucked up everything for the last year.
He's nothing but a sad old cow dog that can't find his tail. Maybe it's because he runs with that Edgeworth, eh?
Edgeworth? What does that have to do with anything?
That cow dog's been kicked out by this cattle run by order of the chief of police. Just he don't realize it yet.
Detective Gumshoe kicked out of the investigation?
So there's no connection between Detective Goodman and my sister.
That's correct, but there's a gold mine of evidence against her. The prospect of tomorrow is none other than Edgeworth himself. I'm afraid your sister's fate is decided, Bambina. Many condolences.
Officer Marshall,
Yeah, Bambina?
how could you say that? You and my sister, you were...
Is there something between this cop and her sister that I don't know about?
I apologize, Bambina. Something must have gotten to me. Maybe it's that dry wind that's blowing through the prospector's office.
You didn't miss all that much, to be entirely honest. I spent about 10 minutes AFK, so... all you missed so far is...
the cell phone that we found at the crime scene.
Last call, I'm pretty sure, was to Phoenix, which is weird. And... apparently Gumshoe's been actually removed from the case, but we don't know why. And there's some sort of connection between this dude and Lana, the defendant. Dry wind or ill wind, someone's up to something here, but who?
Suspicions about Mr. Edgeworth have been flying around for nearly 2 years now.
Forged evidence and arranging testimonies, you mean?
He was unbeatable because he did whatever it took to win. Unbeatable, that is, until he met you.
But rumors are just rumors, aren't they? These are prosecutors who are talking about evidence is everything to them.
If you follow the rumors about Edgeworth to their source, you find one person. But they're off limits, untouchable, you might say.
One person? Who?
Hate to say this, but it's your sister, Bambina, Chief Prospector Lana Skye.
Yeah. Right after that, we clicked it called presumably Phoenix. And then... that or it was actually a coincidence that Phoenix's phone started ringing randomly right as he pressed the redial button. I doubt that, though. Oh, and we learned that the other line of dialogue from the marshal was that basically that Lana, the defendant, and the victim have nothing to do with each other. Like they have no connection to each other at all.
What? My sister?
Edgeworth couldn't rustle all those cattle by himself. Some people load their guns with bullets, other people load them with deals.
What you're saying, Edgeworth, was you're saying Edgeworth was making deals to win trials?
Where there's gunshots, there's bound to be bullets. That's what the old timers say. There's a big old secret hidden around here somewhere. Everyone knows it.
Is that why Detective Gumshoe was taken off the case? Did they target him because he was closest to Edgeworth? Alright, compadre, count to 3.
Huh?
You gotta do that if you're gonna draw evidence on someone. That's what we do in Texas.
Remind me never to visit Texas.
My sister's cell phone.
The last time it was used was 5/18, right after Goodman was killed. Maybe she was canceling a date for the night? Why did Lana make that call?
Okay. This is that evidence is irrelevant to me. Oh.
Ah, a toy shield suits the boy well. What exactly could you shield without a toy knight, maybe?
Officer Marshall, don't you have anything good to say about Mr. Edgeworth?
You don't like him, right? We get the point.
You know, when I was a detective, I got one of these.
Let me guess. Did it have a K for King of Detectives on it?
Hey, they could use the same shield over and over.
Note to self, the prosecutor's office in criminal affairs are surprisingly cheap.
You know it, they've gotten cheaper with every passing year, I tell you. What's that, some sort of police passport?
This is Detective Goodman's ID card, strangely enough. We found it a good distance away from the crime scene.
Good distance in this right hole. If you want distance, get yourself to Texas.
Texas?
This is a tiny little crime scene in a tiny little town with tiny little evidence. What difference does a few yards make, compadre?
Note to self, if you encounter suspicious evidence, think of Texas. There's no better way to study than to hang out with the pros.
Wow, she's gonna have quite the time of her life. What with trying to learn how to not be a moron after following these idiots around. Okay, anything new to talk about? No. Let's go to the detention center. Nope. Still nobody here. To Edgeworth? Edgeworth's not here. To police department entrance. This is the bullshit one. Whoops. Oh, I guess we can read this. Cause of death, loss of blood from chest wound. Assessment wound was caused by a 4.5-inch knife. A single stab wound was found. Death was between... Wait, what? Death was between 4 p.m. and 5:30. That's a pretty big range for us assuming he died at 5:15. Okay. I see your badge. Looks pretty round. My badge is a star, a lone star shining in the nighttime sky. A beam of light illuminating evildoers who come in the dark of night.
Note to self, evildoers are weak against starlight.
Hey, that's a sheriff's badge. No, we already did that. There's nothing else here as far as I know. As far as I could see. What's this? Looks like a note of some sort. Well, there we go.
Look, something's written on it.
You're right, let's see. 67S 12/2. There's a name print on the paper above that. Goodman. Maybe it fell out of his pocket when he was killed.
Well, so what does it mean, Mr. Wright?
How am I supposed to know?
Note to self, for deductive reasoning, go to Edgeworth, not Wright.
I'm sure Edgeworth wouldn't know what this means either. I'm assuming that it's 1137, but... Or 11037.
So, well, how are we doing, Mr. Wright?
I guess we've got some clues. We have an autopsy report, a note from the victim, and a cell phone.
So you think we'll be okay?
Well, the only thing still bothering me is that Lana is confessing to the crime. She said she did it.
No problem. I can guarantee that she's not the criminal.
It's always 11037. It is. Oh, by the way, Emma.
Yes?
I know that song your phone plays when it rings.
What?
It's the Steel Samurai theme song, isn't it? That popular TV show for kids. The phone that rang earlier wasn't mine. It was yours. At 5:18, just after the murder took place, your sister called you, didn't she, Emma?
I'm sorry.
Can you tell me what you talked about?
She hung up right away.
I see. Okay. The detective is murdered and the suspect is the top prosecutor in the district. I've got a bad feeling about this. Like, maybe I still don't know everything that went on here. That's because you probably don't know shit. Because you're a main character. And they don't ever know anything at all. It's almost like it's their job. Or their curse. God, I just want to be able to look at the note. Oh God, I'm never going to get to look at the note. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2.
How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright?
Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas.
Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area.
Yes. Yes, she does.
Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate.
Okay, this is important to me. Oh, really? Fuck all y'all. God damn it. Okay, so if this upside down becomes the S is still an S. What the fuck is this? And that's a 9. SL9? Maybe it's an L because it looks like a 7 right now. We'll come back to it, I'm sure.
I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice.
Yes.
A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that.
Ms. Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. It's mostly the whole being pretty thing, but there's one decisive difference between you and her.
And that is?
You're not a defense attorney. There we go. There's the pretty face.
I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright.
My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. You like Lana? I told you. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Sure, Mia will find a way to save your incompetent ass. That's what I'm thinking. I'm sure he's gonna get his ass pulled out of the fire by somebody. It sure as hell isn't gonna be all on his own.
Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way.
Probably isn't gonna be her either. She's a moron. February 23rd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9.
Yeah, look, it's our old friend.
Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial.
I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else.
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
Why did he ever pick up the gun and when? I don't remember that ever coming up. It was actually useful that he picked up the gun. Because, yeah, there was his fingerprints on it, but we had proof that the person shooting was left-handed, which was useful to us. But why he picked it up? Probably because he's a moron and wasn't thinking at the time.
Wow, he's much more forceful in person.
Yeah, you should see him in the bedroom, baby.
I suddenly feel like confessing to everything.
Yeah, I confess to him every time I see him, but he just keeps turning me down.
However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There is a witness to her crime. A professional witness.
Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls its first witness, Ms. Angel Starr, to the stand.
The cough-up queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere?
You ordered the caviar lunch, right?
Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. Judge is really wolfing it down.
And for you I have a Fiesta Bowl.
Thanks?
Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste?
So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty, it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca.